All right. I think I've got this figured out. We'll see. I don't know. What do we want to do here? Let's go ahead and let's post this a couple places. Where's my, there it is. All right. Just give me a brief second here, ladies and gentlemen. I have a tick on me. Weird. All right. So, all right. How are you all doing? First of all, thank you. If you are watching this now, or maybe you're watching this in the future. What I'm doing, what I'm hoping to accomplish here is, all right, where do I start? So, I guess I gotta start at the beginning. I'll open this. So, I've been talking to Vilas County Forestry for a little over a year to build a challenge trail or create challenging terrain for ATV UTV riding opportunities. And we've finally got it down to where I can potentially start creating something. And so through dealing with Parks and Recreation, we came up with the idea to take a section of trail, which I know this is just a mess of squiggles and stuff, but bear with me. Actually, hold on, I can do this better. Okay. So, what Parks and Rec in the forestry department came up with is this is a 900-foot stretch of existing trail that's largely been abandoned. And their thought is since this trail it's still seeing use, despite not being the official trail. The green here that you see in this picture is what they're offering for me to use. The purple right here is the current existing trail. What they're suggesting is I take this portion of trail and create obstacles through it. So rocks, logs, and so to that effect, I brought this forward to Vilas County Forestry, the actual committee. So the folks that you and I elect, 5 of them sit on a board, and they weigh in on matters such as this. So in June, I brought this request forward, and they are interested in it. They had some caveats. So one of them was discussing water runoff, which is not, I mean, it's not a bad thing. You need to think about this stuff, okay? When you're building this stuff, you know, this is a sensitive area. You got to think about how what you do here affects here. So it's a fair point, and I wonder if maybe I'll bring this up. Where do I put it? Under okay. So I started, this is not the first time that we've used this process, well, not me specifically, but this process was used by our OHM group, the off-highway motorcycles. And specifically what we've been talking about is this section right here, which is their hero section, their black diamond section, their advanced rider section, right? And so they gave me kind of the information they utilized for constructing this project, which is their third in a series of 3 phases. And so some of this stuff, like the water runoff, applies to these folks. The reason it did is because they had about 2,000 acres, I think, of property that they were given more or less free rein to build fresh trails from scratch. Okay. And so in this document that they gave me for their highlights, it goes into, you know, like oak wilt. Oak wilt's a big issue in Wisconsin. You know, here's the wetlands, and so on and so forth. And the problem with what I'm doing is, if we go back to this, so I wasn't given free rein to run all over here and create a trail from scratch. I was given the ability to utilize an existing segment of trail, 900 and something feet, and create a challenge course, more or less, utilizing the footprint of this trail. So, what I ran into and what really bogged this down is, first of all, this is not long enough to constitute a stormwater runoff. Stormwater runoff report, or whatever you want to call it. And second, like I say, this is a sensitive area here, so I personally did not feel comfortable making a decision one way or another. So ultimately what happened is I met with some people and we looked at this, and then I brought it back to the county and said, hey, if you want a stormwater runoff assessment, I cannot give that to you. I cannot do this because this is not 75 feet or more from this existing trail. I said, so really I need the county to weigh in where they stand on this, and to contact the DNR and see where the Department of Natural Resources, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and see where they stand on this and how they feel. So I just did not feel comfortable with accepting the responsibility. So ultimately, approximately a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources did contact the county and said that they are comfortable with the creation of a challenge trail on this footprint in respect of, I'm trying to think if I'm using that word right. Despite a sensitive area in the near vicinity. Okay? So, that's what kind of leads me to today. That is by far the biggest hurdle I had and was worried about. So with that out of the way, I can now proceed and begin what the other requests were from Vilas County Forestry Department. And that is, they would like to get an idea of what I have in mind for this challenge trail, i.e. concepts, what kind of obstacles, things of that nature, right? So, with that in mind, how do I want to do this? I think the best way to go about this is we're going to come back to our dual sport friends and look at what they did. Now, if you look at the pictures that they sent me, here's their measurements. If you look, they GPS their measurements for their trail here, and these marks are in relation to either sensitive borders or wetlands, and it gives distances away, right? So, but what we're interested in, and what I think I'm going to copy for right here, and let me scroll through this quick just to show you. It's pretty interesting stuff, actually. This is, if you're going to get into trail development, these are solid things to learn and understand. You know, I found this extremely interesting. These pavers for stabilizing unstable surfaces. I just think this is neat stuff, you know. So, and ultimately, you know, we don't want to destroy the environment to the point where we're closing trails. We want to build trails and hopefully keep them open, right? So, okay. But now that we've looked through this a little bit, what I'm coming back to and what I think I'm going to at least start basing my idea for is look how they did this. If you look at their zone map, they have 6 zones. And what they intended, or what they ultimately used this zone map for, was to identify where they had tree species. So, because in northern Wisconsin, you're not supposed to cut around oak crop from, I believe it's April 15th to July 15th. So if you look in here, they looked at where their trees seem to be located. And then they broke their sections down into these zones. And they used these zones to decide what they can start on and cut first, and what they needed to do later. So like this one, I believe this segment they probably cut last actually because of the oak. So I don't recall. They did tell me about it. And then like some of these other sections here, there were other hurdles that they needed certain equipment for, I believe. You know, I could be full of crap, but what's really important is I like the way they did this in their report. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to use our document here. And again, this is, I mean, these folks put in, darn it, these folks put in, I think this is 7 miles worth of trail. It's pretty significant. So in total, the Tamarac's OHM area is like 25 miles of trail. So, and they have something like 7 miles of advanced rider trail. So, which is pretty impressive. So these guys did a really good job. So if you have a motorcycle, go get your OHM sticker and give these folks a look, because it's pretty cool what they did out there. So, but anyway, so what I think we're going to do, getting back to my document and what I'm working on, I think we're going to do something similar where we're going to do zones, you know, and like this spot is, you know, entrance A or entrance south or something like that. And then, like I say, we'll break it down by what? Obstacles? Maybe? So some spots I have a pretty clear idea of what I'd like to see for obstacles. Some things I don't. So and that's an important thing to make sure and create awareness to these 5 individuals is that this is a living work in progress. Just because I take a picture and say I'm going to build this, that may not work here, you know? That if I show a rock formation that we're going to put in there, that doesn't mean that I'm going to build it exactly that way. It may end up that I'll come up with a better idea. You know, who knows? So it's this is kind of a strange thing, I'll be honest. So I don't know. But the take home of it is people aren't just going to let you walk out there and do nothing or do something without at least giving them an idea of what it is you're working on, right? So I think we're going to try and open. I don't know if this will let me modify a PDF. Where'd I have that? I have that in pictures, probably. Challenge trail. Okay, let's see if it lets it. Okay, looks like it's gonna let me do it. Alright, what we at? Let's go to 100%. Let me go bigger. We don't need to get super crazy with this, I don't think. At least not yet. How do we want to do this? We're going to use our, and I'm no expert on GIMP or Photoshop. Just say ahead of time. So I'm pretty amateur at best at how we do this. Where's my, what do we want to use? Just airbrush probably? And we'll change color to that white? Not really. Or it's just straight white, dude. That looks pretty white. Let's see here. Is this as big as I think it is? Yeah, it is. Okay. So we drop our. I don't know. It's super janky. I'm not happy with. Maybe free select tool? Didn't it say something about oh, I see. Okay, so we want. Let's do paintbrush. That's probably going to be a lot easier. Let's zoom in to 100. And let's go from right here to right here. And we're going to call this. We're going to call this 1, right? Super original. All right. How do I want to do this then? Do I create a document along with my... Okay, so we want to do... We're going to do a writing document. And we'll call it Proposed Vilas County Challenge ATV UTV Challenge Trail. I am also not an expert in using word processors, so I did take this stuff about 1 billion years ago in school. There we go. But man, it has been a long time, so bear with me, all right? And let's just do it like this for now, and I'll probably work out how to explain this as I go. So, one, we're going to call this the south entrance. Now, what do we want to offer within this? What are we trying to tell people here? So, this is area 1. And the reason why this is specific is we need to create let's see here. Maintain space for what? Two UTVs at entrance of trail. Now this, again, don't judge me. Is that what I should do there? Or does that look like a mess? This seems good. B. Let's informative signage or kiosk to... All right, I don't like this. Create inform riders of this trail segment's intentions. That's good. I like that. Alright, let's go back here and look again. What else do we need to do here? We need to look at our brushing right here at this corner. So inspect, brush, that may obstruct vision of riders entering and exiting the primary trail in this location. Sure, that seems good. What else we got here? I feel like that's really all that's important here. Like I say, this is literally just the entrance, you know? So like something like right here would be a good spot for a, you know, a kiosk. And I don't know if I'm going to insert examples in this or if I will create a sub document with examples. I don't know. Like I say, I've never done this before, so I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that I am not putting together in as streamlined of a manner as I wish I could. So, okay, let's go back to here. So we've got our first segment. Now, let's build... Okay, we're back on our brush. We're going to run another line. How do I do this? Why are we not drawing? Because I'm not on the right thing, probably. Okay. We're going to call this one this is zone 2. All right, so we're going to call this our southern south barrier of entry. Now, what does this mean? What is a barrier of entry? So, in the case of our where did I put? I wouldn't put it there. So, in the case of the dual sport group. Oh, so in the, like for zone 1, this is an example of what they did for their signage. See 7.29 total miles for their black section, their advanced riders area. And this is what they did. They just put a little sign together. It shows their entire system, shows their intersections, and just gives a little bit of information. Now, we may do something a little bit bigger than this, but that's what I'm getting at for zone 1. Now, the barrier of entry thing. So, this is kind of like their barrier of entry at the Tamaracks OHM area. They buried rocks. So, and they buried them basically immediately upon entering the trail. And the reason they do this is they do not want somebody who doesn't belong in there to start going down this without the understanding that, hey, this terrain may be above your current capability. So, and as you see when you go down, you get into more and more rocks and stuff like that. So they want to make it abundantly clear at the beginning that this trail is not a beginner trail. Okay? So, let's put a little note. Obstacle that makes it clear that this trail is not a beginner trail. All right. So somebody who's not familiar with what I'm trying to do here should be able to figure that out, right? They should understand what I'm saying, I hope. Right? So, now, I don't know that we need to. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we'll do a sub entry. What? This obstacle may use a combination of rocks and logs in an, I don't know, do I need to go? I already kind of went into detail up here, so. So, and let's pop up here. We're going to open a bunch of stuff probably throughout this, and I'll show you kind of what I've been doing. Let's see if I've got it in. I don't have it in here. I've got it back here. So, like I say, I've been looking at this for a while, and I've started to save different obstacle ideas from various resources online, or that's cool there, isn't it? They'll never let me do that, but you know, something like this would be cool. Let's see if I've got something I can. This is something that I don't know. We've discussed doing things with tires, and I've had some kind of mixed responses with it. And so I don't know how I'm going to go forward with that. But I like the idea. Let me see here. Do I have... For instance, I really like this obstacle that they built in Paw Rockers. This is in Superior, Wisconsin. As you can see, they took just a ton of tires and they built all kinds of neat shelves out of them. I think this is a really cool idea. And I don't know if we'll ultimately do this, because there is some concern that people will see us using tires as environmentally unfriendly. And I guess that's a fair point, right? But I do feel like utilizing tires in this manner is also repurposing something that's essentially garbage, right? So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it yet. It's something that we're kind of actively discussing. But I don't know. That, especially if you'd build something like this and mix in rocks and logs with it, you could build some really cool stuff. So, I don't know. Let's go back to our Word document. What we call it, domestic. Things like tires and concrete, chunks. Yeah. Sure, why not? Sorry, folks. I'm kind of a stickler on organizing stuff. Probably sometimes to my detriment, but so yeah, like I say, if you look, I've got all kinds of stuff that I've saved from Instagram, and just anytime I see something interesting. So what's this? You know, things like this would be cool to build out of if I could find discarded concrete. So I don't know what they're doing back here with this. So, but here's something that, you know, like this, I don't know that we'll use something like this specifically for this barrier of entry. But I think somewhere along here we might do something similar to this with a step. You know, probably not quite that big of a step up. I don't know. I don't know how far we can get away with something like that, but it's like something like that would be pretty cool. I know this is motorcycles in this picture, but you could do something like this with UTV. Like I say, you might have to step it down because I do have to think about ATV, or what a guy could do is have a portion be taller and then have it descend and be shorter so that ATVs could also access a similar experience. I don't know. Like I say, it's a lot to trying to develop this and raise awareness for what exactly is going on in my head is not easy. So anyway, so this is our barrier of entry. So let's move on to, let's go with, let's put zone 3 up to, oh, I did it again. Call zone 3 there. Let's get our 3. There we go. Nice big 3. Beautiful. Alright, so what's zone 3? Zone 3, we'll call this... What do we want to do for this? Do we want to call... Knock on it. There. So let's refer to zone 3 as... maybe a big step. Big step up, step down. And we'll use this again as the example, right? This is kind of our intended concept for that particular spot is we'll create a step up and step down depending on which way you're traveling. So we'll go ahead and do again. Like I say, I don't know what I'm doing here as far as creating these sub categories. This obstacle will utilize logs to create a, let's say 1 foot Okay, a 1 foot plus step in the trail. So like I say, and that's getting back to our pictures here. That would be something like that. You know, this is more than a foot. This is probably closing in on 2 feet. Those look like probably, what, 8 inch, 16. It's probably plus 2 foot, actually. I mean, it's not. Sure, it's over 2 feet. Look at the. That's probably what, an 18-inch rim. So probably a little bit over 2 foot step. So we can, I mean, maybe we can do a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. You know, it's gonna be really hard to design this sort of thing until you're out there playing in it. You know, and we can get machines on it and kind of look at it and be like, man, we totally can go a little harder than we thought we could. So, like I say, it's all learning. So we're back here. So that's 3. So, and then we're going to come back here. And we're going to draw a line to, let's say there. And we're going to call this Zone 4. Let's call this a uneven step let's see here, rock garden firewood section. So I don't know if I have any pictures of this to offer an example of what's going on in my head. But I don't know, this. Wish I had just pictures, not video. What do these look like? I feel like this might offer something. See how in here they've built like cascading. This, I believe, is made out of concrete. But see how they made this cascading uneven steps? This is kind of what I'm looking at, where a guy could build something like this, where it's going to present different challenges for different width machines. So, and you could build this out of a combination of things. You know, I mean, here, this is probably dirt built up with concrete over top. You could build this out of rock. You could utilize log and rock and stuff of that nature. And then, like I say, to create a little bit of variety, let's see here. You could add firewood. And that creates kind of like an what'd you say it? It changes your traction. So things like that. I think we have an abundance of wood, especially this year. So I'm leaning to try and utilize a segment like this or at least mix something like this in just to see what it's like, what sort of experience it creates. If it's too awkward or it doesn't work out well, then I guess I'll deal with it. But it seemed worth trying. So you can create uneven steps utilizing this too. You could build a grid and create some weird hopscotch type thing too. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different ways to do things, and so ultimately, I think these are things that I'm not going to be able to know until we're out in the field experimenting. So this is a real great example, actually, of people that just threw a bunch of different stuff. I mean, you got some concrete round, what'd you call that, tubing. You've got log buried in here, and you've got rock or potentially concrete chunks. Looks like rock, but who knows? So, just examples like that I just think are really interesting. At some point, maybe we'll do this somewhere someday. Probably not this particular one, but there's a reason why that's saved, right? So I don't know. I would love to sit and talk to people and find out how they come to how they like to design their stuff. So back to our uneven step rock garden firewood section. I don't feel like we really need to explain it beyond that. I'll probably use pictures. Yeah. Okay. So now we're probably going to do a line. How do I want to do this? I wish this line went a little bit further. But again, this is, like I say, this is concept. So is it going to turn out exactly as this document is going to read? No. Because there's always going to be, we may come up with some way cooler stuff between when I present this to our county and when I actually get out there and we start building stuff. So we're going to put a line in the sand right here. We're going to call this zone 5. Right there, big old 5. And what is zone 5? Zone 5 is going to be a Corduroy Road. How do we spell corduroy? Corduroy Road. Well, it seems to think I spelled it right. So what is a corduroy road? Let me see if I can find my pictures. Let me pull this over here so I don't frickin' dox myself, first of all. A corduroy road is this. Okay. See this here? This is a corduroy road. I have only ever seen one of these in use in one location, and that's in the Willow up here in Wisconsin. I've heard of them. I've never seen one in actual use. So, and as you can see, it's actually really cool. use of logs, which are placed down in a sensitive wetland environment. My phone camera, by the way, is RIP. This thing is not doing well these days. And see how they, the logs are all uneven length. They are not all the same thickness, which is a lot of fun. They are actually deteriorating, which is probably, eventually this is probably going to be gone, sadly. And you'll probably have it replaced with more permanent structures like bridges. I personally really like this. I'm trying to think what I can do to show you what this looks like. Hold on. We can go into my videos. Boy, now I wish I would have kept track of oh, there I am. Hi.
All right.
Okay, I don't think it's... By the way, whoever came up with GoPro's filing system, man. There! Yes!
I've only ever seen this applied in this area.
So this is new.
And here, if you look...
They're using...
Just,
what is this? Yeah, 8x8s or something? 4x4s?
See, they used old logs and logging cables to hook these trees together and create a bridge through the swamp. Now the DNR is not super enthusiastic about seeing this done anymore, probably because it deteriorates.
Okay, so.
But it still is, I don't know, I think it's cool. Here, I want to get a picture of this.
So, alright. That's a corduroy road. And so for our zone 5, this area in here is fairly close to our sensitive area. And while we're not going to be getting into our sensitive area, I thought what cooler way to create this sense of what? Of traveling on something that's just unusual, you know? What better way to do it than to recreate that corduroy road that's out in the willow? And I'll probably do something, or we'll do something different. I'm thinking along the lines of we can just have fun with it. We can throw some rock in there. We can do whatever if we want to do some tire, because this is dry ground here. It's uneven, which will be fun. We can sit there and create kind of obstacles that flow with that ground. And it's just, I don't know. I just think that it would be really interesting to put something like that in this location. So, let's go back to our document. I'll probably, like I say, create a sub-document with picture examples. I don't know that any more needs to be said about this zone. So let's go ahead and create another line. Oh, I did it again. Another line here. And this is going to be, I think, we might as well go ahead and name this too right away. All right, so zone 6. This is going to be just your classic rock garden, I think. So there is, what am I looking for? There's a little bit of elevation in here. This is fairly sandy. So I don't know that adding steps in here, maybe we will. I don't know. Like I say, we can do a lot of things with rocks and logs. So, and maybe this would be a good spot to do tires because it's sand. I don't know. In any case, we'll write that. We'll write tire, and we're gonna put obstacle. All right. So I don't know that any subheadings like this. I feel like once people get through this first section here, they kind of get the understanding. This is essentially built out of, rubble, logs, rocks. I feel like they're going to catch on pretty quick once we get past here. So the step up, step down, it's something that people who don't ride are not going to be immediately aware of. So that's where I have to type this away. But like I say, once we get past these things, Corduroy Road. Let's do a subheading for this. Simulates an old wood road through sensitive terrain, right? Beautiful, I like it. All right, so somebody who's never experienced Corduroy Road, that gives them kind of a idea of what that is. Okay, so where are we at? Our rock garden tire obstacle again. The reason I'm putting a question mark by tire is I'm definitely looking for feedback on whether it is appropriate to utilize, what would you call it, like foreign materials, tires, stuff like that in a natural environment, or if that's going to create a little too much controversy. I mean, you wouldn't think it would, but I have to think about all these factors, so it is what it is. So in any case, okay, so our last zone, as soon as I remember which thing is which here. What are we working on? Okay. Our last zone is zone 7, and this is exactly the same as zone 1. This is our north entrance. So 7. Actually, Let's just go ahead and do that. And basically the same thing, right? So this is our entrance. We want to provide a little bit of room for folks to get off of our primary trail and take a moment and just decide for themselves, is this okay for me to travel? Does my skill set let me travel this? If yes, then, you know, have fun. If no, probably don't go down this trail. Again, signage. Signage would probably go right here, informing people what the intention of this trail is. You know, bring awareness to it. You know, whatever else we can think of. Now, let's talk about this spot. How am I going to do this? Let's do, oh, I did it again. Let's do it this way. Let's create, nope. Right here. Let's do zone 8 right here. And what is zone 8? Zone 8. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Eight is I don't know if I like using the word potential. Bail out. I don't know if I like using rest. Observation. Observation what? What do we call this? Bailout? Because it connects to this trail here at this, again, kind of a corner. Observation area, I guess. Provides and exit location if needed. Observation. I don't know why I'm capitalizing everything. Observation point. What else would we call this? Rescue. Let's call it first responders landing. Right? Because, I mean, you have to think of, I don't know. I'm sure hope nobody gets hurt, but, you know, you just never know. So this is probably the easiest point that something could be staged if it were necessary to get access to someone who could be injured somewhere along this location. You know, for all I know, it could be some dude that's like 90 years old, decided to take this, has a heart attack. You know, they still need to get to him. He's just not part of the obstacle. You know, I mean, if you're a 90-year-old guy, if you could, maybe you could will us your body to use as an obstacle. Can you do that? I don't know, but you know, talk to your lawyer if you're interested. You know, talk to your lawyer. Let us know. Maybe we'll talk. You know, so. But in any case, if you do wish to be rescued, this is probably going to be the easiest spot for them to get to you. Let me see here. I should have a picture of that spot. And don't ask me why my camera does this, but you'll see in a second what I mean. ATV. It takes like 1 second video clips. Okay. So this is that landing area I'm talking about. This right here is this spot. Exactly. Literally right there. See where the vehicles are? That is the transition. This is a trail here. So this is literally looking right here. So as you can see, the trail goes down this way. So the nice thing about, like I say, using this as a bailout, as an observation area for first responders is if they need to get equipment in here, this is a nice, fairly open spot. They can get their UTV here. They could get a truck here. Whatever they need, this is going to have decent access, and it's fairly level with the ground, right? So whereas up here there's a terrain difference, back here there's elevation differences between the two trail sections. We don't want that. So that's really all there is to say about that, right? First responders landing, I feel like that's a good point. What else do we do? What time is it? 6:30? Okay. What else do we want to offer for information? I guess let's go with an unknowns section. In the unknown section, winch points, I think, is the biggest thing I can think of that I am not sure that we will actually need along this. You know, particularly in here, this is going to be built for fun. Hopefully you're not getting stuck on a Corduroy Road. But some of this in here, like I say, I think we're going to build some pretty decent steps and stuff in here. It's possible, especially if somebody breaks an axle or something, we may need winch points. Winch points may need to be installed. What would we use for winch points? This is achieved by what? Concreting a steel pole in the ground? Makes sense to me. Other methods may be possible. Let's see here. What else? Natural barriers. May need to be constructed to prevent riders from traveling off of the intended trail. Let's see here. Examples would be what? Simple log fence. Simple logs. Fashioned into fencing. Or a downed tree. Yeah, that seems good. Yeah, and again, that's, you know, like, there could be, we don't want people just all of a sudden decide they want to go this way. This is the trail. Not this. So like I say, the guy would want to make sure that these areas are protected. And whether that's, like I say, by building a log fence, you know, big rocks, I guess. I would really not want to waste the rocks, so the rocks are expensive. We've got a lot of logs. Or like you say, you just take and you haul a big old, balsam tree, block spots with it. Nobody wants to screw with balsam trees. What other unknowns? Winch points, natural barriers. I can't think of anything else that might be necessary. Not off the top of my head. So like I say, the biggest one, you know, we want to make sure is, you know, protect things, raise awareness. Okay. So that's that. What do we want to do with... All right, let's break this down into, let's add... Womp womp. Wow. I did it again. Let's add another 2 because this is unknowns, right? So it's kind of like its own heading. Now, how do I, what if I want, so if I want to, do I break this whole thing if I insert an image? We're going to give it a try, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do... Let's try inserting an image. See how this... Hold on a second. Let's not get carried away here. Come on. It's got to spool up my really big hard drive, so it takes a second. Proposal. Beautiful. My freaking naming skills are just so good. So good. Alright, now we're going to try and add an image. And we're going to try not to dox ourselves. Oh god, hold on. So for our image, we want to use this one. Beautiful. Look at that. Oh my god, it worked. All right, spec brush. All right, our barrier of entry. What do I want to show as our barrier of entry? So for our barrier of entry, let's utilize this might be a good picture. Right? it's not exactly what I have in mind, but it gives you something, right? So that's our intention here. It's not for me to spell out exactly how the obstacle's going to look. It's for me to give an example of what I'm thinking for a barrier of entry. So cascading rocks with some logs somewhere, or, something. So the big step up, we're going to, this is an easy one here. I can, this one we're going with, what picture? We're going with, yeah, perfect, right? Shows an example of a step down, step up. Now, for this one, we're going to use as an example, I think we're going to use this as an example because this kind of mixes things up. All right, the Corduroy Road, this one's easy. I just use my own picture, right? Boom, look at that. It's a cool picture. I like that picture a lot. I should post that up, but I haven't yet. All right, and then this we'll add we're going to showcase that we're going to showcase this rock or this tire example just because it's really different. Okay. So, and this is not probably going to be the final. Why does it? Now, why did it do a blank page in the? What's this page doing? Go home, page. You're drunk. What's going on here? Why is this here? I'm gonna have to have someone who actually knows what they're doing go ahead and proof this, but I have to get started on this stuff or I'm never gonna accomplish it, you know? Alright, so we should do a paragraph of intent, probably. Purpose of this document, I guess, is to offer a conceptualization. Yeah, perfect. Of how this challenge trail might be built. Be aware that this is only an, I mean, what part of conceptualization don't they understand, right? Obstacles may change, be added or removed throughout the construction process, right? Let's go ahead and do I don't know that there's anything more I need to add to this paragraph. I mean, I really don't know. I feel like this is as far as I should take it as a first draft, and that maybe I need to accept what I have here. And I need to forward this on to someone for proofing who probably understands this format better. But I feel like I at least have... I feel like someone who is on a board let's see here. Do I need to... I mean, boy, I would sure hope what they... I'm trying to make this so that someone who has no clue what I'm talking about. That's the biggest thing. Most of these, we don't have a lot of challenge trails in Wisconsin. This is kind of a new, I mean, it's not a new thing. At one time, all trails were challenge trails because we had trails, We didn't gravel everything, but it's been a few years. People aren't used to that anymore. So trying to reintroduce this stuff like I'm trying to do is not easy. Boy, I really like that picture. It turned out so nice. You know, and making sure I inform correctly. Like I say, I have to think about these things. In front of what would you say? In front of an area in front of a sensitive. Is that spelled wrong? Sensitive? No. Okay. Sure. Okay. How long have I been streaming, ladies and gentlemen? It's 7 o'clock. I'm at 1:42. 1 hour, 42 minutes. I don't know what else I need to add to this. I think that feel like we're done. At least for right now. I need to take and I need to save this. I also need to take and save this before I accidentally delete it, because then I'm going to have to go back and do this all over again. What are we calling this? We got called a JPEG? JPG? It doesn't really have to be anything special. Spare no expense on the quality, right? Okay. That's saved. This is saved. We're going to save it again just in case. I think this is it for today. I think I've come as far as I can. I'm probably going to ship this out to some others. If you're watching, you know who you are. To have them clean up my mess. And so, yeah. All right. I guess that's going to do it. So that's my stream for today. I don't know. I kind of like streaming. I wish I could come up with more of it to do. And I wish more of it was appropriate to this channel. Yeah, just playing video games or something, you know? But at any rate, I thank you all for watching. I'm at 574 subs as of today, by the way, which is awesome. I love you all. Thank you very much. If you enjoy my other videos, I mean, if you enjoy my streams, you know, sub. But if you enjoy my videos, you know, consider subbing. So I do a lot of goofy stuff like this. So, and finally, just thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you all later, all right? Happy riding.